Yes. She gave me info about
Buddy.
this is like the first time that she's come with this thing, right? So she's going through this, and repeat yourself. Have a really good conversation. She's like, Mom, stop. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Okay, and then it's like it comes up again. She's gonna call anybody if you're done. Anybody will listen. And so but she did, she won it, take down one, this time, but the girls, they want to take care of her. Putting back along to the front door. So for both sides, with that, you know, no magic that you can know, that she has no, I go, wait a minute, Mom, stop. Read the time, yeah.
Guys, I'm just going to mute everyone's backgrounds in case we have some background noise as we proceed with the call. Questions will be allowed. I'm just going to, allow you to unmute yourselves as we go. But for now, I'm just muting mics. We'll get started in a little bit. We're a few minutes early, so. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We're just going to wait a little while for as many people as possible to file in, so sit tight. Thank you. Hey, everyone, for joining. We're just going to wait a few more minutes. Hopefully, we'll get a few more attendees rolling in. It looked like a big list. So hopefully, we'll get a little bit bigger of an audience. I got about 12 people here so far. So just sit tight. We'll get started in a few minutes. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Hey, Phil. We're just trying to wait a couple more minutes. Right now I got about 14 people here, including you. So trying to see if a few more file in before I get started. All right, well, we're recording anyway, so you guys can post it in your agent portal for anyone that missed. So we're gonna get started. Guys, first of all, thank you everyone for joining. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get you real fired up for our Dejavoo P series and IPOSPAYS Gateway. For those of you that may already be selling it, hopefully I'll be able to show you some new tricks about what the system can do and help you sell even more of it. For those of you that are very new to it, I'll start basic with the hardware as well. We will be able to ask questions. If you can, try to keep yourselves muted for background noise. There's a little speech balloon button at the bottom of your screen. You can actually type your questions into a chat window, and I can respond to them as I see them pop in. If we have a little time for verbal discussion at the end, we'll definitely do that as well. So we'll try to just zip through it as fast as possible here. All right. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. I'm going to first share my website with you. There's a couple of links actually that I want to put in our chat window. So first of all is our LinkedIn page. If any of you guys are on LinkedIn, you can connect with me, but I would also love for you to follow Dejavoo on LinkedIn. We do a lot of marketing messaging on there, commercials about products, announcements about new features or new hardware. So definitely it's a great place to follow if you're active on that website. I'm also going to chat myself on there as well if you want to connect with me. And more importantly, we have a YouTube channel. And the reason I'd love you to bookmark this page is because the platform that we're introducing you to today, which is IPOSPAYS, there's a lot of instructional videos on this page. Some of them are geared towards the merchant, how to do different things that this gateway can provide. And some of them are, how to enable it, how to use it, what is its use cases. So there's about 70 something videos on that YouTube channel and growing regularly. So anytime we release new features, there's also a really cool 3-part series about the story of Dejavoo on that YouTube channel. Some really cool, interesting interviews about personnel within the company. There's also a pretty cool podcast on there with my CEO and James Shepard. So check out those videos as well if you guys have the time. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. We're going to take you to dejavoo.io, which is our website. Okay, and what I wanted to introduce you to first is the hardware. So we're introducing a platform today called IPOSPAYS, IPOSPAYS, P-A-Y-S. And it's what you call an omni-channel gateway solution. So it gives you the ability within one platform for a merchant to have multiple endpoints or ways that they can process transactions for their business. Obviously, one of the more popular ways is card present. You need physical terminals for that. So I want to introduce you to the Dejavoo P line. So if you go to dejavoo.io, you go to products and you go to hardware over here under Android, you're going to see the P series down the middle. Okay, so these are the terminals you're going to be able to use with this new platform. So I'm going to go first run through these. The P1 is the countertop terminal. So this is the one that sits on the desk, needs power, has the ability to do Ethernet and Wi-Fi. Okay, so no cellular here. There is a backup battery that you can use for light backup. You're not going to be able to really walk around with this one all day long. That's going to be other models in the family that are really meant for it. So the battery that's in this one is like if the power goes out or it loses its plug for a few minutes, the battery will last maybe an hour, a couple of hours. But keep in mind this, the Ethernet port will not work. It needs electricity for Ethernet to work, so only the Wi-Fi is going to work if you don't have it plugged into power. It's a really sexy terminal, very fast. It's a 5-inch touchscreen, very fast processor, lots of RAM. It also supports the two dual bands of 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. You don't see a lot of terminals out there yet supporting that. It's touchscreen with buttons, which is great. Some merchants like their buttons. They don't like an all-glass terminal. There's a brochure here on the page as well, guys. I'll point that out. Anytime you see this purple button, you can download a brochure, keep it in your book, show the merchants that as well. As you scroll down through our web pages, you also have a 3D view of the terminal. You can take your mouse and drag it around and see all the different ports and just get a nice full-size view of the device. I will say we've also given Clearpay processing, and therefore you, the agents, some very aggressive pricing compared to what the market gets on the hardware and on the monthly fees that this platform provides or charges. So get with your agent support, get with Clearpay to get that processing. You guys are getting a great deal on these. The next terminal in the line is going to be called the P3. So it's almost like the P1, looks the same, but it's a little bit sleeker or thinner on the side because this is the battery operated one. This is the one you're truly going to walk around with all day long. So it's almost identical on the front and specification wise, as you can see the CPU, the memory, the screen size, the Wi-Fi capabilities, but this one also adds a cellular capability. Okay, so this one, instead of Ethernet and Wi-Fi, is 4G and Wi-Fi. You can use any AT&T or T-Mobile SIM card. You just cannot use Verizon with these. So just keep that in mind on this family. So there's a brochure here for that. As you can see on the side here, the side view, it's a much sleeker terminal, handheld. It has a camera built in. You guys probably won't use the camera too much, but if you bring us opportunities where a POS system or an ISV, independent software vendor, wants to put their app on the terminal, we do this a lot, where they want their POS system to live on the device and walk around with it as an all-in-one, doing, let's say, orders at a table, then pay at the table. They can use the camera to do barcode scanning as well, or take pictures of the barcodes. Phil, the battery life of the P1, you know, I don't know if you're going to get 8 hours out of that. It's a give or take depending on how much the printer's used. Like I said, it's really not meant to be the terminal you walk around with. That's really what this terminal, the P3, is meant to be. With the P3, you're going to get 8 hours and then some. It's definitely going to last you all day and well into maybe the next day before you need to fully charge it. Battery life on these are phenomenal. Also, the next one in the family, battery life just as good, P5. This looks like a cell phone. It's a nifty little pocket-sized device, guys, but it's a full-blown terminal. So it's still a 5-inch screen. It's still a super fast processor. It's still super, lots of RAM. Also does the dual band Wi-Fi and also has cellular. So this is pocket size with no printer. Okay. You can still use this as a full-blown terminal. It's whatever you want it to be with, you know, just going digital with receipts. So we sell this one a lot as well. It's got the insertion on the front. It's got the mag swipe in the back. Contactless is built in as well. But this is a full-blown terminal, guys. So it's Ethernet. I'm sorry, not Ethernet. It's Wi-Fi. It's cellular. It can even be a pin pad. So I'll talk about how pin pads work as well. Yes, we can do menus on the P series. We have a light inventory function, but we also have a POS system function. So I'll circle back to that a little bit and mention what I mean by that as soon as I get through the hardware. So the next one, and we're only selling 4 today. So P1, P3, P5, P8. This is the last one in the family you're going to currently be selling. This is in the same category as the P3. Okay. So if you take a look from the side, it's got a printer on the back. It's battery operated. It's 4G and Wi-Fi. So it looks from the category family of this, right? This one here that we originally touched. The reason why we have 2 in that similarity is that if you take a look, this one's all glass. This one's no buttons. So you're stepping up to a 6.5-inch screen, but this one is even more powerful, more memory, faster CPU, and cheaper. We're giving these at, I think it's about $10, $15 cheaper than the P3, but hey, you're getting a better piece of hardware for a lower price. And what's a really cool addition to this, and Jason Reed that asked the question, when we talk about the menu, this device has a built-in laser scanner. That's what the yellow button on the side is for. So when you want to add some items to the product, you can now use barcode scanning to ring them up. So built into the gateway, we have a feature called light inventory. Like, think about food trucks, parking garages, entrances to parks, anybody that's on the move, pop-up stands, things like that, where they don't need inventory control. They do not need a full-blown POS. They just want to be able to ring up items. They want to be able to do dual pricing. They can do that on any one of these physical terminals, also on their cell phones. We'll talk about that. And you can do up to 200 items. So even though it's light inventory, you can actually do up to 200 items. I'm not sure if a waitress would use this to take orders, because then you're talking about maybe our POS system. That's another product we have in our suite that we can offer you guys. It's called Dejavoo Pro. That's a different division of our company. It's a full-blown POS system. And why am I saying that? Because a lot of times in restaurants, you need things like modifiers. You know, I want my pizza with half pepperoni. I want my burger well done. I want onion rings instead of French fries. You can't do that with light inventory built into this product. You'd need our POS system, which is Dejavoo Pro. We can definitely set up a demo for you guys on that, just like I'm demoing here today. We can set up a live demonstration for you on Dejavoo Pro. Really awesome product. Excellent, excellent price on it as well. But not for today's call. Coming soon, as far as hardware goes, is one more device in the family called P12. This is not a palm size, because we said the P5 is palm sized, right? It's this 5-inch screen or 5.5-inch screen. This is what we call pocket sized. It's a 4-inch device. It's 4x4 square, but this is battery operated also, with Wi-Fi and cellular capability, and it's going to come in around $150. This is about 2 or 3 months away. I'm hoping less, but we're working on the production in the factory, and then we'll have this as well. Now, any one of these 5 devices I've introduced, they can all be either a standalone device or they can be a pin pad. So I can make any one of them a device that faces the merchant controlling the transaction, and I can make any one of them the consumer-facing pin pad device. Even a P1 and a P1 can play together. So the way we connect them to each other is through Wi-Fi. You don't have to worry about cables. You don't have to worry about the proximity of the cables and the cables aren't long enough. This works through Wi-Fi, very stable, very fast. If the merchant doesn't have Wi-Fi, I mean, geez, just go to Walmart or Target, get the cheapest router you can find. It's going to do the trick. So that's the way we do our pin pads today. We are actually working on a wired pin pad. We should have one before end of year. We'll make an announcement on that. There's a new device coming called the P17. I just didn't have a picture for it on our website yet today. So some people are just adamant about not using Wi-Fi, even though I promise you it works very good. So there is a wired pin pad on the way in this family. Okay, just so you know. So we're going to take the rest of the time to really demonstrate the terminal and demonstrate the gateway itself. So what I'm introducing you to next is the screen of the terminal. One thing that you guys really would love to know about is how I'm doing this screen share right now. So if you look at my web camera, I got the terminal right here in my hands, but I'm showing you it on my computer screen, so I don't have to keep doing this. Now, the way we do that is with a software that's embedded in the terminal called AnyDesk. You see this software name up at the top left. This is free software. You can put it on your computer. You can put it on your tablet. You can put it on your phone. And you can basically do FaceTime with the merchant's terminal. And if you take your mouse, okay, and you move it around on your computer screen, there's this blue floating dot that floats around on the merchant's machine. So it's kind of like very easy to tell them, okay, press here. Okay, now do that. It's much easier for the help desk or for you guys that sometimes help your merchants remotely. Okay, well, what's the screen say? Press this. What's the screen say now? Press that. Think of all the time it saves when you do something like this, guys. Really, really great technology. So we're going to go through a transaction here in a minute. We're going to do a little orientation of the screen. I do want you to know that these terminals are bilingual. They currently can do English or Spanish. How do I do that? Is I go down to this red gear at the bottom of the screen, and I put in the password for the terminal, which is going to be the last 4 digits of the TPN on the terminal. And then you'll see something that says language and theme right there in the middle. And right there, you can switch it to Spanish and hit the little green check mark, and the terminal will reboot in Spanish in just a few seconds. You can also change color layouts and feel layouts of the terminal if you like different themes, just like people play with their cell phones. So there's some cool little customization there. Just so that you see how the pin pad is connected. If I touch pin pad at the top of the screen, it's basically, whoop, I pressed the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so basically it's going to show me the IP address of this device. And if I go to the other device that's going to be the pin pad, I do the same thing and it shows that IP. So all you're doing is typing in the IP addresses of each other's devices on each other's screens, and you hit pair and it's done. Lickety split. Very, very simple. And like I said, solid and fast. Okay. On the top left corner of the screen, you have this little hamburger icon. We know that as a menu icon. That's how you change transaction types. So as you can see, we're defaulting to sale, but that's where you change to void or one of the other ones the merchant may want to do. You'll see this red swinging tag on the screen. Tagging the transaction is when you need a prompt. The merchant says, I like using a server prompt or an invoice number prompt, an order number prompt, PO. So you can have up to 3. It can be 1, 2, or 3. You can title it whatever you want. You can make them required. You can make them mandatory. You can make them alphanumeric or just numeric only. Jason, we'll try to save troubleshooting for a follow-up, but basically the comment there that you're talking about, yes, the P5 has tap to pay in the back. So the receptor in the front of the glass is a tiny bit slow. I mean, yes, most of the time when you tap a card to the glass, you see it happen within milliseconds. With ours, it's maybe a half a second or a second. And there's a graphic on the screen on the corner right where they're supposed to tap. But if you use a P1 and a P1, you can use it as a pin pad. You tap it on the back cover. So there's the universal contactless icon is on the pin pad cover. One thing you can also do, guys, Jason, let's take this offline. There's another solution I might have for you there, but I don't want to get into problems on the demonstration. Thank you. But yeah, there's some stuff going on there, but it's really not as bad as you think. So we'll go there. Okay. So we talked about tagging, which of course comes along with reports in the gateway on server reports and tip reports and how you pay out. In the middle of our screen here, the yellow star is our favorites button. We've done this on Dejavoo for many, many years, and then one of our competitors copycatted it. But this is where your popular day-to-day functions are. So doing reprint of receipt, settling out, adjusting a tip. So these are cloud-based terminals, guys. It's just like the other competitor you were selling for quite some time now. And from what I understand, Clearpay's made a clear commercial decision to no longer sell that competitor. But in concept, we do a lot of the same things. So we do everything in the cloud. If I broke this terminal in the middle of the day and there's an open batch, I don't have to worry about rekeying sales or calling the processor even to force close the batch. The gateway takes care of that all by itself. And so again, less customer service, less needing to take care of this merchant on the back end or on help desk phone calls. It lowers the handling time. So inside here, once again, like I said, is your popular day-to-day stuff. The upgrade app is where we also can do a manual upgrade of the terminal if we need to. So they call into the help desk, they need a configuration change. They can do it right there on the spot, and it's very, very fast. We go here, and you hit download parameter on the right. And this is about as fast as it would take. It's on Wi-Fi on my house, and it's already done. And it'll reboot here in a second, you're back up and running. Now, that's not necessary if it's not an urgent need. These terminals update once every 24 hours all by themselves, even if they did not close a batch. If they are closing a batch, then it actually happens immediately after the batch is closed. Okay. On the bottom right corner of the screen is our little help desk guy with the headset on. And there's some pretty cool stuff inside here. First of all, you have the contact us button. So this can be help desk contact us information. Okay. We also have a call me back feature. We once again had this for many, many years on our terminals. The other guys came in and copycatted it, but we kept it anyway. So this is a merchant that says, I'm too busy to get online on the help desk queue right now. It seems like they're a little bit busy. Let me just have somebody call me back. So they can choose a reason why they need a call back. They can put in a phone number. And they'll get a ticket number that's assigned, which they'll be able to see in their own system, along with an email is sent to the help desk. They get a ticket that they can see as well, and they can change status of it, assign it to employees, and the merchant will get a call back. We also have a hardware test menu inside here. That's the red button on the bottom right. So you can test different pieces of the terminal to make sure it's really a swap situation before you just blindly swap. It's a very easy way to test things, very quick. The green button is the remote diagnosis. So when you're here and the merchant says, I need help, and you say, okay, I want to watch your screen. you're going to tell them to hit the little blue guy and then press remote diagnosis, and it's going to show you this session number at the top of the screen. So in your AnyDesk, you type in the session number, and on their screen is going to just come up a little pop-up that says accept the connection, and then you're watching their screen just like I'm doing right now. Okay. The orange button is one of the coolest things. This is on, I'm going to fumble the wording, built-in training videos. Okay. So when I press demo videos, these are training videos built into the terminal. So the merchant calls you up sometimes and says, you know, man, I don't do refunds all that much. Can you just stay on the phone with me and walk me through it? And you can say, yeah, sure. But maybe for next time, just so you know, there's a video in here and you can watch it yourself or train your employee all by itself. And so it'll show them how to do it. And then they go back and do it. Okay. I want to take you through. Okay. Also, you'll notice the top right corner is your Wi-Fi icon, that little one up on the top right corner. So this is where you can test your connection. You'll have a network icon there if it's Ethernet, or cellular if it's cellular. So you'll be able to check how good the connection is. So these devices need connections at all times. This is an internet-based device, a cloud-based system. Now you could, you could put it in an offline mode once we're done with that. That's in development right now. So early next year, we are releasing what we call a, I forget the name of it. They come up with this fancy name for it. It's basically like a store and forward. I can't remember it right now. So they forgone sale or something sale. I can't, I'm sorry, but you'll basically have an offline mode just in case. And then when you can go back online, the transactions process. Obviously there's risks to that, but we will have that. So you can check your connection here to make sure all is good, to make sure our servers are answering. So you'll see app server 1 and app server 2 answer to make sure our gateway is up. You'll rarely see an outage with Dejavoo, guys. Maybe once in your whole life, if ever. So no outages, another big advantage. All right, you can press configure, and then it goes to a screen you guys pretty much are used to seeing if you have an Android phone or an Android tablet. This is your Wi-Fi connections. So you don't really need me to demonstrate that. All right, let's go back to the home screen. Let's go through a transaction. Now you're seeing a logo in the middle of the screen. That doesn't have to be Dejavoo's. That could be the merchants. It could be Clearpay's. You can do whatever you want as far as customizing that logo on the screen. So we'll put in a transaction amount. Now you're going to see a bunch of different things happen during this transaction. Does it all have to happen for your merchant? No. Obviously, there's lots of different configuration options, and I usually like to light it all up when I do demos so you can see everything. So because this is a battery-operated device, one of the things I do is I demonstrate how we can do pay at the table. So it says present the device to the customer. Now the customer's got it in his hands. He's going to put in a tip. I'm going to skip the tip for a minute for a particular reason. So I'm going to say no tip. Now here again is another screen that may or may not have to be there because we don't have to do taxes. That can be turned on or off. We don't have to have a tip on the screen. You'll see a scissors at the top of the screen, which is password protected, but it allows a merchant to bypass a fee that's being added to the transaction. When you think about cash discount or surcharge, it can allow the merchant to also edit or remove taxes from the transaction. Let's proceed. This is your dual pricing screen. So this is set up in a dual pricing mode. We have traditional pricing, interchange plus. We have surcharge where we're checking bins. There's lots of different fee-based configuration options that we have for the terminal screens. So this is your traditional dual pricing. I'll finish it with cash real quick, just so you see how that goes. So it asks you how much did they give in cash. You gave me 2 20s. Tells me the change to give. You see confetti flies on the screen when our transaction is approved. A merchant copy spits out off the printer, which may or may not happen depending on how you configure the device. You can make it paperless. And then obviously you have these customer copy options. You can text, you can email, or it doesn't have to go through at all. I'll send it as a text to myself, guys, just so you can actually see it. Now we also have this feedback question. Again, doesn't have to be turned on or on at all, but the text at the top, the question can be customized. And then we track the feedback, whether merchants consumers, every time they go in, how many times did they give a thumbs up or a thumbs down? How many visits did they have? So we can do things with that. And I'm also going to show you some other things that come along with that. Now we also have a social media question. Okay. This is something that can also show up on customer copies of receipts, even the digital ones or ones that print. So let's say I want to promote my YouTube, not my YouTube, I'm sorry, my Facebook page or my business's website or a Google review or a Yelp. Visit us on Yelp, and the QR code takes you to Yelp to leave a review. That's some things you can do with the QR code. It can be any URL you want on a website, okay? It'll take you anywhere. So the receipt comes through. I'm actually, yeah, it just came through. So let me show you that. I'm going to share another AnyDesk. All right, so let me actually go side by side here. Hold on, we're going to do a screen share, the whole screen, so you can see both. 1 second. All right, so on the right side, you're going to see my cell phone coming through. Hang on. All right, so just so you see here, these are the 2 receipts that came through. First is the, or excuse me, 2 texts that came through. So the first one is the receipt. I'm going to click the link at the top, and you'll see the transaction receipt. You can see it has a logo, which the merchant can set up for themselves as well. From here, the customer can print it or PDF it or save it to a picture. But also you'll notice the other text. Thank you for your valuable feedback. Continue shopping with us. That's because I gave positive feedback. So I have a way as a merchant to control another message that comes through to the phone, whether the feedback was positive or negative. And it can be a negative response too. Sorry you had a bad experience. Give us a call. Let's talk about it. So if I click on that, that actually takes you right to here, and it takes you to the website because I'm giving a URL. And again, that could be the merchant's website or merchant's URL. So it's demonstrating where that goes. Okay. Now, before I'm going to jump around a little bit just to save as much time as possible. One thing I want to show you, being that we're messing with my cell phone right now, is because we have a product called IPOS Go. So IPOS Go, let me pull it up on our website. Is an app for cell phones. Okay, we have it for iPhones and we have it for Android. Right now, it's only for Apple and Android phones, it's TSIS capable, and on Apple phones, it's currently also Omaha capable. I know you guys do a lot of both of those. So Android Omaha is coming next. It's in progress. We should have it ready maybe right around the new year. We've been working on it with Fiserv for a few months. Then we're going to go back and do National North for Apple and then National North for Android. So that'll come later in 2025. But what is IPOS Go? This is an app you're going to find in the App Store, guys. Okay. You're going to see it on the Android App Store or the iTunes App Store, Apple, whatever they call it today. This is a way for a merchant to do a card present qualified transaction with just their cell phone. No hardware needed at all. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you. Okay, we're going to open up the app. We first have to make sure NFC is turned on. So if you go in your settings, you turn on the NFC, right? So I'm now going to open up an app called IPOS Go. And when you look at it side by side, it looks just like a terminal. So there's no extra training needed, okay? So it can do everything that the terminals can do. Bilingual, everything I've said so far in this call, it can do anything. It can do dual pricing, it can do surcharge. But how does it work? It's NFC. So if you watch my camera and I'm holding up my cell phone and I tap that card to the back, you got to get the sweet spot, and I'll tell you about that. You see how I'm missing it? You got to know where your sweet spot is on the phone. Mine's usually right about in the middle. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Wait a minute. I'm not catching the right sweet spot. Hold on. Of course, now it wants to play back. I have a really tough case on my phone. I used to have an OtterBox, which is the toughest one out there. There it goes. I found the spot. Okay, so you can tap a card to the phone. You can tap phones to phones. You can tap Apple Watches to phones. This becomes a card present qualified transaction. Okay, and you can see how the receipt options are also there. Now, you also have different options. What if the card doesn't tap? A lot of people still have cards in their wallets that still don't tap. So you can see here, there's a few different options for that. You can key it in. You can bring up a QR code on the screen that the consumer can take a picture of and then make a payment with their own phone. You can even send a link to pay from the phone. I'll send you a text. I'll send you an email. Where do you want it sent? And you can pay me that way. So there's a few different ways, but obviously you want the NFC. You want that card present qualified. Now, you saw me struggle a little bit with my sweet spot, right? So if you go inside the red gear, oops. There we go. Okay. See, there's something at the top that says NFC zone. So this is like a trainer. So it's telling me where should I tap. So what it's going to make me do, it's going to make my card, it's going to make me slide my card up and down on my phone. And every time I get to that good sweet spot, I feel a vibration in my hand. The phone is vibrating. So it teaches the merchant where to get that sweet spot right each time. And in our training videos, we also have a video on it.
In this video, you'll learn how to spot the NFC zone on your Android phone.
Okay. So
certain smartphones.
Lots of different ways to train them on that. And as you can see, I'm not the expert on it either. But as you do more and more transactions, you get better on that sweet spot. Okay. So this is iPOS Go available now, guys. And that's it about that. So let's go back to the transactions. Now on the physical terminal, I'm going to run a card transaction for you. So this way, as we go to the gateway, I'm going to show you where that cash and card transaction looks like. So let's do another one. Now this time I'm going to tap a card to the device. Okay, that went through pretty fast. There's your merchant copy. Now I got my customer copy. I'll just say no receipt for now so we can move on. And I'm going to do one more thing while I'm here. Split payment. Okay, so you're at a table. You got one guy who wants to pay cash. The other guy wants to pay card, or both of them want to pay cash. Both of them want to pay card or whatever. You'll notice this button up on the top of the screen that's got different colors on it. That's our split payment button. And you can do up to 7 splits at a table. Okay, so you see how what each customer pays at the bottom. As you hit confirm, it's simply going to walk you through 7 different transactions. And you see the numbers at the top, the splits that are counting. So that's how we handle split payment. Really cool feature. You'll also notice the shopping cart that's next to it right here. Okay, this is the light inventory function. So if I go into that, that takes me to the register. Now I have 2 items set up. Okay, just so you can see some sample of what it's going to look like. Now you can add items on the fly from the device or from your cell phone if you're doing it on iPOS Go, or you can refresh if somebody went into the gateway and did it, and it just updates the whole menu. All right, when you add items to the system, oh, and if you're using the P8 where the barcode reader, you would add the items from the device. This way you're adding the barcode in as you're creating the record. Okay, but let's go ahead and add some items. All right, so I'll create 2 of these. Let's do 1 of these. You see how it's counting the totals at the bottom, card and cash. Now you'll see a discount button there also. We can discount items either by dollars or percent. Okay, so you can do that on the fly. Once you go to the next screen by hitting green at the bottom, you get your final breakdown. You can even make the card price same as cash if you want to, so you can remove the fee. And then once you check out, it takes you into the transaction flow. Okay, so that's your light inventory. So let's go back to the gateway now. So I'm going to bring over my browser. Now you can access the gateway either from a computer like I am. Usually Chrome makes it look a little bit better. You could also access it from a cell phone browser. It's going to be a little bit limited in its functionality. Like you can still use the VT and stuff, but some of the more robust reporting capabilities, obviously you may have to get to a laptop or a computer to actually use some of the other bigger things. So when the merchant first logged in, they're on this dashboard. So it's aggregating data as they're running transactions from all of their stores and all of their locations and all of their devices. It can be physical terminals, the tap on phones. It can be virtual terminal, which is what we call our cloud POS over here. It could be on their website. We have what's called hosted payment solutions, which is HPP here, where we have some documentation for them to be able to build payment facilitation into their own website. We recently added WooCommerce, the shopping cart ability for integration with their website with this. We're about to do the one that starts with an M, I forget. We wanted to do Shopify next, but Shopify is not open right now to new developers, so we're going to keep our eyes on that. So there's another one out there that starts with an M. Maybe, Phil, you can throw it up on the chat. I can't remember the name of it. That's the next one we're doing right in the new year. So anyway, my point was, anywhere we're running these transactions, this dashboard will aggregate. You can filter by just a store if you want. So if I have one particular store, the gateway will update to that. I can drill into a particular terminal that I may have, a register, something like that. Okay, all of these tiles are clickable. So as the merchant wants to start playing with data, they can see it and slice and dice it and chop it up in different ways if they want to. And so this shows them by which different devices that they have. Okay, So the more that they get used to this, it'll come that they may have more questions and we can dig into it more. I just want to save time here. So down here are transactions, right? So this is transaction volume and count. This is dollars. So here you can say, well, all right, show me the transaction list. So I can just click a short button, which takes me to a new screen that actually creates an automatic filter and then shows me the data I'm looking for. So it's really kind of the same thing as going over to where we show batches on the left here and then making the filter myself. But so this is a little bit more of a shortcut, a hot button. The tiles, again, are also clickable in the processing volume. So you can either click the little arrow or you can click into the tile itself. Then you have a timeline chart, so you can actually zoom in and out on this if you want to, or you can set a custom date range to look at it. And as you see, as you mouse over, it shows you what you did for that period. Okay, you can zoom in on it, zoom out on it. You have buttons over here for that. Now at the bottom, it shows you again your total sales for the entire time. So this is entire history of the business, unless you put in different date ranges. So you get everything down at the bottom here: total fees, total tips, total taxes. As you can see, the breakdown. Okay. You have user management. So merchants log in and they're a merchant. This is like the top level role. They can see all stores, all locations, all devices, all transactions. Then you have other roles. You have store managers. You have multi-store managers. You see like this one here. So it is what it sounds like, right? If I log in, I'm only going to see the dashboard for my store or for the multiple stores that I manage. We can even hide the dashboard. That's coming very soon, because some people said, well, we don't want the employee to see the dashboard at all. It's none of their business. So that's actually something that's in development right now, coming very soon. So from here, they can create users, as you can see, delete users, fire them, whatever, resend the password if they never were able to log in. So when you add a new user, you're just putting in contact information here. Once you pick the role, let's say like a store manager, then you pick a store, and then you pick privileges. So there's lots of different privileges the merchant can give or take away from different users in the platform. Okay, transactions. So let's step down to that. In here, you're going to see everything: all card, all cash, all gift. We also support gift processors in here: Factor 4, Value Tech, a couple of other ones, but those are like the two biggest. Most likely those are the ones you guys use. But notice how some transactions got a check and some have an X. Well, these are because they didn't go through. So maybe it was a decline. I can actually filter by that. There's a million filters up here. Well, not a million, but a nice amount of them, okay? And you can search by either card payments or alternative payments. Alternative can either be cash, gift, or ACH. I didn't talk about ACH yet, but we do have an ACH provider certified in this platform. And so now, even when I send a link to pay, I can accept card, I can accept ACH, I can accept Google Pay. I'll show you that. So alternative payments is going to filter for any one of those. Well, what if I just want to see ACH only? Well, we have a different switch called minor channel, and I can drill just into the ACH transactions, okay? But what you can also see, I'll clean it up a little bit first, status. I can see filters of just declines. Show me everything that was ever declined in the system. So all transaction records, good or bad, successful or fail, are kept in the system since day one, forever. They will always be here. Nothing gets archived that they have to go retrieve. So there's lots of different ways in here to find a transaction, maybe by what employee performed it, maybe by a server number that was entered during the transaction. So lots of good things inside here. Now, when you find a successful one, let's play around with one of those. Okay, so let me bring up the TPN that I did transactions with you on just now. All right, so first, here is the card transaction that we just ran today. You'll see the receipt here, merchant and customer copy. And again, you'll have the logo there. Now you can also download it, print it, PDF it, re-email it again if you want, right from this screen. You also can perform a void or a refund right from here, partial or full. Now I'm the merchant doing this, right? Now, I'll do one other thing before I show you another really cool feature. So just let's go back to alternative. Okay, there's the cash transaction I just ran. So I just wanted to see that the cash receipts are also kept and tracked. Now, how many times does your merchant call you up and say the next morning, I batched out and I forgot to add my tips? I'm just going to take a quick drink because my mouth's getting a little dry. So how many times has that been a customer service nightmare? Oh God, now I got to go get all the card numbers. We have to expose those card numbers to someone, whether it's the merchant or an employee, and somebody's got to key new sales for the tip amounts they forgot about. This platform eliminates that headache. Okay, I'm gonna actually demonstrate that. So let's go to batches real quick. Again, we'll pull up my batch that's on my terminal. All right, so here you can view the batch. There's the card transaction that we ran. There's the cash transaction that we ran. Now, right from here, a merchant can do tip adjust. Okay, they can do it from here, and they can do it over and over again. I heard that there's some other platforms that don't let you readjust the tip once you adjust it once. No. That's silly. That's rookie mistake. We can adjust tips over and over and over again. Doesn't matter. If just because I put in a $5 tip doesn't mean I realize I screwed up and I can't go put another one. Okay, so that lets you change that over and over. You can add tips by stores. So there's lots of different ways to find your tips. When you are also inside there, there's some grouping capability if people like to look at it by card brand or by transaction category type, sales, refunds, and stuff. So there's some sorting abilities inside here. You can download very detailed spreadsheets of your batch reports as well. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to push my batch. So this is the merchant actually doing it, and he's pushing his batch. So now I go, uh-oh, I forgot to add the tip. Well, it's not going to let me do it from here anymore. That transaction's batched. So if we go back to it, there it is. This is the one we just batched. Well, the merchant's got a button that says additional off, and they type in the tip amount. So just like that, they just took care of that mistake their employee made all by themselves. No more customer service. Okay. I'm going to come back to the virtual terminal for a minute because I want to talk about some other features. My customers is the vault. This is where cards go on file when they want to use recurring payments or use the virtual terminal for card on file transactions. Now you can easily add a new customer to your record here. You create the ID card, and then you can add as many cards on file as you want. We're also adding a card updater function very, very soon. So like when cards are about to expire, we go out to a service, we check, and we get the new information all by itself. So the merchant doesn't have to update it. We'll update the CVV code. We'll update the expiration date all by itself. Now, also, you'll notice how some of these values in the vault are an email address or a phone number instead of just a name, like over here, okay? These are cards that go on file automatically. So if I do a transaction with you anywhere in the system, as long as I give you a digital receipt, which is with the virtual terminal automatically, your card automatically goes on file in the vault associated to your email address or phone number. So we automatically do that with all the extra legwork. So if you look at like this guy over here, he's got 3 cards on file, and you can see where the feedback is now that I was referencing that. And now with these cards on file, you can jump right into the virtual terminal and run a new sale, or you can add a recurring payment or send a payment link, email or text to the customer to do another payment. Recurring payments is a very robust window. You put in the amount that the recurring payment's going to be. Your TPN will already be picked. Mine is just virtual terminal setup. You can do card, or why is there a drop down here? Because I'm about to add ACH. I believe it's actually going live tomorrow, ACH recurring payments, because now we're also able to put ACH data into the vault. So that's going to be an add-on tomorrow morning. So now you have, you pick the card on file. You can put in a reference ID if you want, and then you got lots of options for frequency. I'm not going to demonstrate them all, but as you can see, there's lots of them, and there are more that are coming. We always, by the way, guys, take feedback from you, from your team. So if you're with a merchant or you got a chain of merchants and you really think that there's an enhancement that we should do, or you think there's a bug, you need to go to Clearpay support. Clearpay support has a representative here at Dejavoo that they talk to, direct representative, and we log that ticket and we change that code and we do that development for you guys. We actually do what we say. We will deliver. So if you think that there's growth needed in this platform, some kind of feature that another gateway the merchant was on had and now they don't, and we need to do it, we will do it. Sometimes it takes a few weeks, sometimes it takes a few months, I ain't gonna lie, but we get it done. So once you pick your frequencies, then you have to sometimes have some supplemental options to finish the setup. You have options on when to end it, maybe never, maybe based on a given date, maybe on a successful count of payments, like an installment plan. So there's lots of really good options within the recurring payment platform. Okay. Tickets, that's the call me button, right? So I just wanted to show you that real quick. This is where the ticket lives that I just did with you. You see how I chose the settlement issue, the phone number I put in, and the merchant can view the ticket. So on the left side, they can say some communication, And on the right side will be communication that the ISO or Clearpay personnel might have left into the system or in the ticket. So we can interact through this. There's lots of settings inside here. So this is merchant settings. Remember the happy face and the sad face on the screen. I was talking about the follow-up texting, follow-up SMS. That's where you set up the communication for this if you want it on or off. And this is where you set up that URL that goes in the positive feedback. Well, why would I give you a link to my Yelp if you're not happy with my service? So we're only going to do that on the positive one and hopefully just get some positive feedback. We can set up email addresses to get batch alerts, okay? You can either just do it for the entire business, okay? Or you can set up store-specific email addresses so store managers can only get theirs. And you can set up as many email addresses as you want. The merchant can upload logos here for their digital receipts. You can either do it for the entire business, just a one merchant logo, or each store can have their own unique logo on receipts if it's different businesses that the merchant owns. Recurring payment alerts can be set up here, so we have different notifications for that. I'm going to skip this one and come back. This is great. QuickBooks Online integration. So we have QuickBooks Online built into this platform. It works really, really cool. There's two different videos just to save time on this, guys. So again, if you go back to our YouTube video channel that I gave you guys the link to, if you click on the little magnifier glass and you just type in QuickBooks, you're going to get two videos right here at the top. One's 3 minutes, one's 4 minutes. One walks the merchant, see how it says for merchants. So this shows the merchants how to turn it on and how it works. This one is also good to show the merchant as well. Just show them both. And it shows, because the first part of it shows Clearpay people how to actually enable it, but then it also demonstrates how it works. Okay, so there's two main ways how it works. I'll do a quick, just a little flash on it for you. So I'm going to turn it off. So the merchant comes to it, and this is where it's at. And you want to turn it on. Now, guys, what I'm also doing right now is I'm using a sandbox version of our website. This is not production. This is not live transactions. You guys can have access to this also. You can be set up as a merchant or set up as an agent, and you can demonstrate all this to your merchants. Please, we do not want merchants in the sandbox, just Clearpay personnel and agents. But it's good for support. It's good for playing along. It's good for demonstrating. It's good for just getting used to the platform. Now, we also have instructions on how to set up a QuickBooks Sandbox account, which is what I do for demonstrations. I have a PDF on how to go do it. So basically, if you want that, and then you get to be able to demonstrate this whole thing and play with it. So the merchant's going to go to this button. It's going to ask them to log into their QuickBooks account. Where is it not open? It's spinning. So Intuit at the top, you can see is waiting to load. I'm waiting for the Intuit website to come up now. Okay. So it's asking me to log into my QuickBooks account. And once that's done, it's going to exit. It's going to ask me to log back into the gateway. And that's it. You go back to settings, you go back to QuickBooks, and it's integrated. That's all the merchant has to do. We're now connected to the merchant's QuickBooks Online account. So there's a couple of different things you can do. I'll go through it real quick. Where's Intuit? Here we go. Okay. Oh, come on. Every time I come here, the interface changes. Okay, so we're getting into our sandbox company now. So this is the merchant pretending, we're pretending that we're the merchant, right? So let's pretend we have a list of customers, which is over here. So the first way I'm going to demonstrate is if you have a customer in your QuickBooks and you create an invoice. So I'm just going to pick one. We're going to pick this 55 Twin Lane, Freeman Sporting Goods, okay? And we're going to go over here and we're going to create a new invoice. So now, what I want to show you, you see when I click this product or services drop down, there's options: concrete, design, gardening, hours, installation, lighting, whatever. Notice when I'm over here, default service, it's the same options. So it's just a little proof that we are connected to QuickBooks. So I'm just going to put something in. We did something called services, whatever. We'll do something generic and we'll just put in an amount. We'll do something unique like $77. We're going to save it. Okay, now you're going to notice that invoice number 9098 is now in Freeman Sporting Books right here. So here's the invoice on the top line. Okay, now we go to the virtual terminal to facilitate payment for that. So that's CloudPOS. So I didn't go through CloudPause yet, but we're going to do a transaction real quick here to demonstrate it. So there's different ways you can use the virtual terminal. I can send you a link to pay, text or email. I can take a card over the phone, which is pay now. I can use a card on file. I can even wake up a physical terminal. So that's another way, guys, that you can use the P series is connected to the VT like a pin pad. So on command, somebody walks in the store and says, yeah, I want to pay that bill, or I want to buy something on the shelf. I can on command wake up a physical terminal to do a card present transaction through the virtual terminal. So we're going to do a pay now. We're going to do a card on file for this. Okay. And notice at the bottom, you got QuickBooks details. This is where we bring the QuickBooks into play. Now you also notice I got ACH and cash options, which are also just part of the virtual terminal, guys. You can do sales on the virtual terminal, pre-auths. You can do refunds. You can do itemized billing. You can send a bill, okay, like an invoice. Let's just finish what I wanted to do first. So we're going to not fill out anything at the top. We're going to go down to QuickBooks, and I'm going to type in that invoice number. And it found it. It found the customer. It found the amount. It found the date that it's due. We hit apply, and it fills in everything. So it fills in the phone number of the customer, their email address, and now we can finish the payment. But, well, maybe I also want to add it to my services. So I'm going to type in that, and it finds it in QuickBooks. I want to add it to my checking ledger. So I'm going to do that over here. Now, another way you can do it completely, let me refresh. Okay. Let's do it by sporting goods. I want to find any invoices that I have open for Freeman. I can do that first if I want to. And it shows, oh, he's got another one in April. By the way, you want to pay that too? So it finds other ones that are in the system. So there's lots of different ways you can then go and find invoices and throw it in. All right. Let's just go back to the original one. Now, also, you could partially pay an invoice. You could change the amount. So when you go through it, QuickBooks will still show the invoices open because you only paid like 20 bucks out of the 77. All right. Now from here, I could type in a card number. If there was a card on file, it might pop up. You get like choices. Let's just finish one from here. I'll do a test card. All right. Now, zip code, street address, that may not be required. Obviously, for mine, it is. Descriptions, cardholder names, those can be required. These are also tags. So tags could, once again, can be 1, 2, or 3, required, mandatory, optional, whatever, titled, and whatever you want. I'm going to process the transaction. All right. So you see we got the approval. We sent a receipt via email and text to him. We updated the invoice. From here, I can also see the merchant or customer copy if I want to. A lot of merchants say, you know, I like to print that off. Let me print that to my printer right now, my Windows printer, save it to a PDF on the computer. They can do it right from here. Now let's go back to QuickBooks and refresh. And now you'll see a payment at the top. And now it's marked paid and it's closed. Okay, so that's option number one. The other way that we can integrate is if there is no invoice created. So that makes you come back to what I was showing you here with default service and default ledger. So if I set up a default service and I set up a default ledger, now anything I do in the system, it could be credit, debit, cash, ACH, physical terminal, tap on phone, virtual terminal, online payments, whatever, is going to automatically in real time report to QuickBooks without an invoice. So it's going to show up in their sales receipts. It'll show up here. So you can see already the one I did before, but not to mention others that if I had let me do another transaction. Now that I have the default set up, right? So I'm going to do a $30 transaction on the terminal. Which is probably going to elevate because I'm going to add a fee here. So it's going to be a total of $40.56. Take right out of the way. Okay. All right. So here's our approval. Okay. So now if I refresh this, I should see a receipt. There it is, right at the top, $40.56. So that just ran from a physical terminal, okay? And if I go back here, there's the transaction. There's the same receipt number. See how we keep it? or I did the one before and it was the 9098. So in the QuickBooks records, in our transaction records, you show QuickBooks, the receipt number or invoice number. When you download a batch spreadsheet, there's a column for that as well. Now, another great thing about this gateway is automatic level 2, level 3 interchange optimization without extra data entry from your merchant whatsoever. So we're going to boost those basis points or save those basis points by automatically turning this feature on and detecting whether or not the card is level 2 or level 3 eligible. This is a huge feature of the gateway for savings, guys. So you'll see here in the transaction record how we indicate if it was processed as level 2 or level 3. And once again, in the batch spreadsheet, you have a column for that as well that tells you yes or no. So that's another great feature. What else? We have ways to set up special reports. You want to do special reports by tips or driver ID. So you get these different reports down here. All right. I'm going to try to save a little time, but you can play with this in the sandbox, or we can do another maybe part 2 on it. I don't want to get into too much of the nitty gritty. I want to do high level. Okay. But there's different tip reports. So, okay, for a certain time period or just today, show me the report, show me which servers did any tips so I can do payouts before they go home. So you can run that from here. You can also do that from physical terminal. So you can go here, you can go to reports. You can find an untipped transaction report or a server report. So as you can see, the terminal's got lots of reports as well. Now, I didn't put in a server number, so it's going to tell me I ain't got nothing. Oh, well, this is from something. Well, this is the transaction from today, but there's no server number on it. So if so it's got no server. And I can print that if I want to anyway. It's going to show no server number on it. Yeah, it says no tag. See that? Oh, that's what I missed right there. So there's a transaction, but you didn't put in a server number. So maybe it's because we didn't make it required. Okay, but as you can see, it's on both sides. That was my point, whether physical terminal or you want to come to the system itself. A batch report screen allows you to run multiple batches at once. So like here, these are all the batches, right? And you notice how I was typing in the TPN number, and I can keep doing that. I can find multiple TPNs, but that's a little bit tedious. So if they want to drill in more collectively to all TPNs from one store or whatnot, you go to batch report, you pick a store, you pick a date range, and then you download. You'll get this one big collective report. Your inventory report is going to talk to you about which items you've sold. It's not, like I said, it's not going to do inventory control. It's just going to show you how many you sold within a given period and total values. Okay. So back to the virtual terminal for a minute. If I sent a link to pay, or I did a pay now, but I used the guy's card that was on file, notice how it creates an invoice number. So I'll just put in an amount. Now, if I put in an email address, well, this is giving you a breakdown. That may happen if we're adding a fee or taxes. So I'm going to use my email address. Maybe not that one, which is the one that has the card on file. Hold on. Yeah, that one. Okay. Notice how it shows the different cards, so I can automatically pick that, put in the amount. So that's like a demonstration of doing card on file without going to my vault and finding the card. You can actually do it from here with the autofill feature. So that actually works also. Your invoices live here. So when you send a link to pay, you'll notice they have statuses. Okay. You can send it again. If you go over here, you'll have a copy link, resend link, cancel invoice. Let me create a new one just so you have something alive to see. So now you see it lives here at the top. But if I go over here, you can see what it really looks like to the consumer. So all of this can change a little bit by customization. Maybe there is no fee being added, or there is a fee being added. You'd have a different amount here. The tip button doesn't have to be there, but it is something that can work. You can choose ACH. You can choose Google Pay. There's lots of different things you can do on the acceptance, okay? Again, tags are customizable inside here, cardholder name. There could be a patient name. There's a lot of customization of fields that you may need in this setup as well. So this is really kind of like what we call our hosted payment page. It's the same thing a merchant might use to design payment into their website, but with the APIs that we have, they can make it a little bit prettier. They can make it more looking like their website, frame it within their website, change the colors around, more customization so it looks more native to their website. Any recurring payments that are alive or dead are going to live here, so you can check on the record. You can see how many installments have been paid so far. You can actually see if it's dead, inactive, or if you come to one like this one's still active. You can see the payments that are processed and the next one that's being scheduled. You can change the record if you want, or you can kill it right from here. You can go also to your inventory here to set up your light inventory. So you have to pick your store first. And there's the two items that I had, the eye and the widget, as you can see. Developer Central has the hosted payment that I talked about. They're also going to use something called Freedom to Design. Those things go hand in hand so they can more customize it to their website. The others that are in here are mostly for integrators. If you're going to bring us any ISVs, then we'll talk more about that stuff and why it makes sense. Let me also show you, what was I going to do next? Hold on one second. Let me get in here so I can, generic hosted payment page. So let me actually show you a sample. This is a live merchant. His website was broke the other day, so let's see if it works. But this is a guy that's using what we call our GHPP, generic hosted payment. You see this button over here that says pay now. Let's see if it's up. Oh, it's up. It's working again. So notice the difference. There's an amount field, okay? So GHPP is what it sounds like. It's a generic link. So behind that pay now button, the link never changes. So it's like for someone that wants to pay a bill or make a donation, think about a church, something like that. We see a lot of that. And they get to specify the amount they're typing in. Now notice how it increased because this merchant's adding a fee. So GHPP is very easy to set up. I just wanted to demonstrate that also. We go to settings, we go to generate payment form. The TPN again should be selected, but it's basically the merchant's virtual terminal TPN. They copy that, not the TPN, they copy the URL. It can be either the short one or the long one, whatever they're happier with. And they code that right behind their pay now button. And then they get that. So that's how quickly and easily they can set up GHPP. With HPP, we are here to support them. So when they go into the Dev Central, they go to the API document at the very, somewhere in here. There's an email address. Maybe it's this one, API doc. Yeah, right. So once they get to it, that's like the intro. Then they get to the API doc, they can send an email to us and we'll support them all the way through. Okay. Guys, any questions so far? Anything you want to see or didn't know or want to know? Okay. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, let me show you this also. It has to come from the ISO login because we didn't add it to the merchant login yet, but this is another feature that we have. We have something called digital ads, okay? So think about a merchant that says, you know, they want to put a message on all their receipts. Hey, every Friday is happy hour from such and such time. Click here to check in or whatever. I don't know. I don't have a lot of imagination with advertising, but you can create digital ads. You can make them show up on paper receipts. You can make them show up on electronic receipts. So with electronic receipts, you got a little bit more versatility with adding a logo, like a physical, a digital banner. You can make it when you add the URL, it'll show up as a QR code on the paper or digital receipts. You can customize the messaging. So this allows you to do some advertising or, you know, some promotion of something that they're doing, buy one, get ones or something, and or even refund language. But, you know, you really could do refund language on the physical receipts as well, right? With footers. I wouldn't really have to go through digital ads for that. Look, even as if you never push that out, just, you know, Phil, with you being on the call or corporate thinking about this, maybe you want every single receipt to just say this transaction was powered by Clearpay processing. You can create an ad for that and it shows up on all the merchants' receipts. And you can send them to your website or wherever you want. So that's something I just wanted to show you inside the merchant login. Okay. So a few things that we're adding very, very soon. We talked about the card updater. We're also adding 3B Secure, which will also save basis points on the e-commerce receipts. That's in development right now. Should be done before end of year. We're also doing some of the other things are fast and weird. We're constantly adding new dev. For anyone that actually wants to be on our email blast list, like every couple of weeks we put out a new release notes email. Here's the new features that are coming. So not only follow us on LinkedIn, but if anyone, as a matter of fact, if y'all don't object, I'll take the email addresses that were the participants here today and I'll add you guys to our email blasts. And you can unsubscribe at any time if you want. So I'll be happy to do that. Any questions? Been quiet out there. Just unmute yourselves. Don't forget, guys, if anyone wants to talk. Okay.
Let
Would
this
would you guys
information.
upload the menu if we need a menu to be upload, or how would that work?
Say it one more time. It was a little garbled at the beginning.
Sorry for that. Will you guys upload the menu? Like we have to send it to you guys to put a menu in?
So that's when we're talking about our POS system. So if you guys are interested, let's spend a few minutes talking about the actual POS. That's Dejavoo Pro. Okay. So that's not part of this system, although you can use this system along with it, because Dejavoo Pro is a POS, just like Clover. Okay. But you pick a terminal to put on the side, right? So you're going to have one of these terminals operating with the POS system. Now, that means the transactions are still processing through the gateway. So you can still do everything the gateway does, but use our POS system. So let me talk a little bit about that. It is here. Okay. So first of all, it's a cloud-based POS. You're going to find Dejavoo Pro in the App Store. You're going to find it on the Apple App Store. You're going to find it on the Google Android Store. So it means you can bring your own tablet and load Dejavoo Pro and use it. So you can use an iPad, you can use an Android tablet, and just, you know, pay a subscription to us. This is a retail system or a restaurant system. It can do bar tabs. It can do modifiers. It can do table service. It can do takeout. It can do invoices. It can do online ordering. The import of the menu that you asked about, Robert, can either be done by us for a cost or by Clearpay's team. We have an import tool that we can directly import from Clover. So you can actually export Clover inventory and then use a button in our system to import Clover inventory, or you can design and map your own spreadsheet to do menu importing from other systems. But menu setup is a service that we do offer if you want us to do that for you. Yes. Now, if you don't want to bring your own tablet, you can buy this cool little device right here called the D1. So this is a register. It's got a merchant facing screen. That's the 10-inch screen. As you can see over here, it's a 4-inch customer facing display as well. That's a brochure on the system. Let me go down to the bottom where you get the 3D. You'll get a better look. Oh, they took the 3D off here because I have to go to hardware. Hold on. Here we go. All right, this is a better view of the register. Okay, so this register is super fast. It's got Ethernet, cellular, and Wi-Fi built in. We can connect a cash drawer. We sell a cash drawer. So you can see the customer. Yeah.
Hey, it's Joe. How are you?
Hey, man. Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, thanks for the presentation. Real quick, Robert, we will upload the menus for you. So if you do have a menu that you want loaded on here, send it to Luciano.
Yeah, Jason Reed, we do have a cash drawer option. So if you look at this piece of hardware, so it's got the screen in the front, the screen facing the consumer. You got a printer built in. You got a bunch of ports on the bottom where we can connect the cash drawer or Ethernet. Okay, and there's a backup battery built in this thing. And the price to Clearpay is under $300, well under $300 at where this piece of hardware starts. And the cash drawer is about $99 that we sell to Clearpay. So it's a really good startup price. You pick a terminal to put on the side, you got yourself out the door for less than $600 in hardware. Our monthlies are very low. We gave a schedule at Clearpay on that, so I'll let them talk to you about that. Now, also coming very, very soon in the new year is going to be this. This is called the P18, and it's also going to run Dejavoo Pro. Why is it great? Well, because you don't have to put a terminal on the side. It's got a card reader built in or a card swiper, or you can do contactless with it as well. And it's got a laser scanner built in for barcoding. It detaches from the stand if you wanted to, or when you put it on the stand, it's got an Ethernet port built in and Wi-Fi and cellular and a cash drawer capability. And you can auto rotate it. You can flip it to make the customer see things. This thing's going to start under $150 for, excuse me, let me take that back, under $350. Okay. So a completely built-in all-in-one tablet with payment built in for give or take $350. This will be ready before the new year. We're working on prototypes as well right now. So guys, get a demo. Joe, I can help you with this to work with my Dejavoo Pro team to find a time that works for all your team to see a full live demo on this system as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Can you set up a Dejavoo Pro training for us, or have Andres set it up for us?
Yeah. Go to Andres. He'll send you a button to his calendar. Just pick one that works for y'all, and then send out the invites. You'll get the invite, and you can just send it out to everybody. Or you can do like Phil was doing with me, and give all the email addresses to Andres. He'll add them to the calendar. Okay. So I guess we'll stop there. Unless anyone had any few more questions, I'll hang around. But guys, I hope I did show you some stuff that you didn't know before. There's always stuff being added to this system. So if you want to make this a quarterly thing, I'm happy to do that every 3 months or so, and really make sure you guys always stay up to speed on what this powerful system can do. We're never going to raise your price. We'll probably eventually someday lower it the more that the commitment happens. And so we're just going to give you more and more value for the same price.
Hey, Chris, it's Philip again. Is there a time limit for merchants to adjust a tip on a settled batch?
So yeah, it's because the way it works is we're using a token that we're building in the system, and tokens expire.
Right.
And of course, if you go too far out, you might end up with chargebacks, right? So the system itself allows up to 120 days, but I don't think you want to go that far, right? But the other parts of using the token in the system is to do a refund, right? Or, you know, later on. So that token does work for either auths or voids or refunds for up to the 120 days. Otherwise, our tokens expire. Holy smokes, I completely forgot about the reason that there's a QR code next to my face on the screen here, guys. Let me talk to you about our pop-up program, and then we'll call it a day. So this program is something that Dejavoo started so that you can upgrade your merchants to a Dejavoo P series terminal for a fraction of the price of the device. You guys are already getting some pretty slick pricing on the hardware itself, but we're going to make it even better. So now let me show you about pop-up. All right, so basically it's if you take any day, let's pretend you have a merchant with a Z line. I mean, back in the day, you guys still did a lot of the Dejavoo Z8s and Z11s and stuff like that. I don't even care about the picture right now. Let me just focus on me for a minute. All right. The original program was take a merchant with a Z8, a Z11, a Z9, and put them into a P1 or a P3 or whatever they need. Okay. We're going to give you the price of the terminal, I think another $50 off of what your normal price is for the terminal today. So it goes all the way down really low, like under $140. Okay. Now that program never expires, but some people said, you know, I want to do it for my Pax 8. I want to do it for my VX 520s. I want to do it for Valor because I hate them now. I want to do it for Ingenico. We'll take that program and give it to you for any non-Dejavoo as well, as long as it's not a new merchant that you're signing up. If it's someone in your portfolio, you want to upgrade them to the Dejavoo device, this pop-up program is for that. So the QR code is going to take you to an I'm interested screen if you want to sign up for pop-up and buy hardware at that price and get them into the new gateway. Okay, so this program never expires. It's indefinite. You can go at your own pace just when a terminal breaks if you want, and upgrade them into the merchant's Ps. Jason, last question. If a merchant is using a P12 as a POS, will a P1 or a P3 communicate with the P12? Yes. So that, yeah. So once P12 comes out, of course, that one's not ready yet, but any P can act as the master while any other P can act as the pin pick. You don't typically see one as little as the P12 being the master. So typically you see a P1 or a P3 as the master, and then whatever you want consumer facing. But yes, you can do that. Guys, anything else?
Hey, Chris, I wasn't here for the beginning of the call, but Mariah had mentioned that you guys will have a Tether pin pad eventually.
Yes. So just to stay on the roadmap, it's called the P17. It will be able to wire tether to the P1. So work, keep up with me on that. You know, like I said, you and I should start having some regular bi-monthly calls or monthly calls or something. So I keep you up on that, but that is in the works.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I order a Cozen right now?
You can order, you cannot order the P18 yet, but you can order any of the other Ps except for P12 until that's ready, and you can order the D1 for the register.
Got it.
But again, I'll keep you up on when the P18s are ready. We should set up a call on the calendar for regulars, you know?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris. This was extremely helpful. Actually, there's one more question.
I think that I know that the potential for Clearpay is a lot more than I've been seeing. So hopefully I'll see some more P orders from you guys soon and bigger and more frequency. But look, I will just say, you know, I could have been elsewhere. There's a reason I'm still here at Dejavoo. I think we got the best thing going. And as of right now, just to give you some statistics, our gateway now has over 900 resellers We are now adding over 7,000 TPNs a month. We are now doing over $1 billion in transactions a month. We recently heard from a statistical resource that we are the fastest growing gateway in the country. So this is a solid product, guys. Get on board, please. Arnell, would you say the P1 is good enough for inventory for a high school football game? Yeah, exactly. As long as they're not tracking, they don't want to track how many candy bars they sold. They just want to ring them up. That would work. Good idea. I mean, not count the inventory. They can track how many they were sold. I'm sorry, I misspoke there, but I think hopefully you understood what I meant. You got it. Great. Thanks. Guys, anything else? Good stuff. Good questions.
Who is the ACH partner?
Today it's Paya Nuve.
Okay.
We are working on Vericheck in the new year.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I got. So please reach out. You have a support team here at Dejavoo as well, guys. You can call our support team for technical support. We have a sales department if you have sales questions, if you can't get me. So we're happy to help you sell more and be successful. All right. Have a good evening, everyone. Thanks very much for your time. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks again, Chris.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.